So hello everyone and welcome to Career Launcher. So in today's class, we are going to discuss a very important topic because we have just completed 50 years of its completion, and that is why it becomes very important. And that is the national emergency that was actually imposed during the time of Srimati Indira Gandhi ji. So it has completed 50 years, and of course it becomes very important. Why I'm saying it becomes very important? देखो, if you have seen the previous year question of CLAT 2021, I'll give you an example why it is very important. देखो, CLAT 2021 में there was a question on a passage called as Gandhi Peace Prize. Okay, see the question of CLAT 2021. So there was a question on Gandhi Peace Prize, and Gandhi Peace Prize in 2021 was given to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. But why I'm telling you here, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is the founder or the father of nation of Bangladesh. So 1971, Bangladesh got independent. Plus 50, you add, it becomes 2021, right? And that is why it was very much in the news. So it was asked in the exam. It was, he was given Gandhi Peace Prize for that. And that is why it was asked in the exam. Because 1971, Bangladesh independence plus 50 is 2021. Okay? So that is why I'm saying yes. That's why I'm telling you that 50 years of emergency is very important. Okay? There is very highly likelihood that they will give questions from here. Okay? First. Second, this is a very important topic for this year. Please watch this video and make notes out of it. हम बहुत rarely कहते हैं कि इतना star लगाते हैं, but yes, I'm putting a lot of stars because I believe that this is very important for the Second Amendment mini constitution, because it was actually this amendment was brought during the national emergency, and that is why it becomes very important. Okay? So please watch it after the class is over and make notes from there also. Chalo, so let us begin with today's class. I think I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. So let us begin with the first question. Under which article of the Indian Constitution national emergency is imposed in India? And I think it is the easiest question of the day, and I believe that you all should be answering. बताइए कौन से आर्टिकल के अंदर नेशनल इमरजेंसी लगाई जाती है? 352, 356, 360, 365. Please tell me. I'm expecting everyone to answer. Yes, very good. Article 352 is the right answer to this question. And what about Article 356 and 360? कोई बता सकता है what is there? What is the purpose of 356 and 360? (356) state emergency, 360 financial emergency. Yes, Karthikeya, you're right. So Article 356 is state emergency. Is imposed under Article 356, also known as President Rule. Okay. And Article 360 is related with financial emergency. Okay. Yes. And 365 has some relation with 356 also. So you can read 365 also. But here I'm not discussing 365 because we will divert from the main topic. Fine. Okay. So can you please tell me, have you ever seen financial emergency in India at national level? Yes or no? कभी फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी देखा गया? हैव यू एवर सीन फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी इन इंडिया? No, there has been no financial emergency. But ये तो लगता ही रहता है president rule is like even right now we are having in Manipur, है ना? So this keeps on happening. And there are a lot of articles and judgments of Supreme Court regarding president rule, but here we are not talking about that. Otherwise, we will divert from the topic. Currently, we are supposed to discuss national emergency under 352. Okay? So, who gets national emergency? Of course, the president, है ना? So there are two things, whether by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. So these are the two types of emergencies in India. Okay? So let me first write it. There are two types of national emergency under Article 352. What are those? The first is called as internal emergency. Internal reason से जो भी कह लो, internal emergency कह लो, या whatever you can say. Another is called as external reason or external emergency. So the word used earlier, the word used was internal disturbance. So the reason for imposing the emergency was internal disturbance. However, the statement was changed to armed rebellion. By which amendment of the Indian Constitution? Please tell me. Which amendment this statement was? And external emergency लगती है war और external aggression की वजह से. By war or by external aggression. External aggression means some other country entered our territory. Territory has entered our territory, but we have not declared officially a war. That will be called as external aggression. But if we declare a war, then it is a war, which is declared by president. So the term originally the term internal disturbance was there. Yes, Karthike, very good. 44th Amendment, 44th Constitution Amendment 1978. So this was actually brought during Janata Party government, when Janata Party came to power after Indira Gandhi ji lost the election. Okay. So first of all, let me tell you something about this. देखो, ये वाला वीडियो जरूर देख लेना. I have told you because here I have discussed 44th Amendment and 44th and 42nd Amendment both. तो देखो होता क्या है, इंदिरा गांधी जी was the prime minister from 1966 to 77 and 1980 to 84. This is tenure. ठीक है, ये इनका tenure होता है. Okay. Now, what happens is, so she imposes national emergency somewhere here, है ना, 1975 to 1977. So इसके दौरान between it actually she comes up with 42nd Amendment 1976. But after she got loose in 1977, in 1978 Janata Party government came up with 44th Amendment. And 44th Amendment altered a lot of things related with which was done by Second Amendment or during the time of Indira Gandhi ji. Okay. So 44th Amendment actually brought a lot of changes to undo the excesses during emergency. Okay. So why internal disturbance means even if it's a little bit protest or something like that is there, so you can bring national emergency. But now it was changed with armed rebellion. Unless and until your country witnesses an armed rebellion within your own country, you cannot impose national emergency. So that is what you should be knowing. So there are two types of national emergency, internal and external. Now, so how many times national emergency has been invoked or has been declared in India? Proclaimed word लिखना चाहिए ना, proclaimed होता है, लेकिन declared भी चलेगा. Because the term used in Indian Constitution is proclaimed. 1, 2, 3, 4. कितना बार क्या गया? So 3 times. Yes, C is the right answer. Very good. Kushagra, Hari, dog lover, Sharma, you are right. 62, 71, 75. Right. So basically, there was one imposed in 1962 China, India-China war. The second was 1971 India-Pakistan war, and it is said that it was not removed even. And we had there was 1975. But please tell me why this is criticized, and these two are not criticized because they go. The reason is this was imposed due to war. There was a genuine reason or an external aggression, whatever you can say. And this was imposed due to internal disturbance. And this term was later on changed to armed rebellion. So this was criticized because this term was actually misused, it is said. There was not that much internal disturbance, but so the reason was this. Reason था उसका, हाँ. तो इसीलिए ये वाले को ज़्यादा criticize किया था. And sometimes people believe that there was only one emergency in India, 75 to 77, but that is not correct. There were till now we have seen 3 national emergencies, 2 of external reasons. So of course there was a war, there was a genuine reason for that. That is why we had imposed. But this 75 to 77 was actually not very much justified. That is why she is being criticized for that. Okay. So let us talk about थोड़ा सा मैं president rule के बारे में बताता हूँ. This is little bit I'm discussing. 356 is president rule or failure of whenever there is a failure of constitutional machinery. The president on the report of governor or otherwise means even if the governor does not give any report, still the president can actually impose president rule. But however, there are a lot of conditions which has been put by Supreme Court. So currently we are not discussing that. But yes, you should know the power of the high courts are not impacted at all. Please do not be in a confusion that the powers of the high courts will be impacted. Okay, no impact will be done on high court's power whenever there is a president rule. Similarly, Article 360 talks about financial emergency. Of course, the president can invoke or provoke or proclaim. And again, the same thing. Till now, we have not seen any financial emergency in India. Okay, Let's move on to the next one. Who was the president of India who proclaimed the national emergency on 25th June 1975? देखो 25th June 1975 plus 50 years करो कितना हो रहा है? 25th June 2025 हो रहा है कि नहीं? कितना दिन पहले की बात है? Hardly 1 week back, right? So that is why it is very, 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 very important, this topic what we are discussing today. Yes. पहली बात तो ए आंसर नहीं होगा, कुछ लोग सोच रहे होंगे ए हो जाएगा, but I am asking president and president invokes proclaims national emergency. So the right answer is B, फखरुद्दीन अली अहमद. ठीक है? हाँ, बीबी गिरी भी पहले रह चुके थे, राइट? हाँ, बट तो अगर आप देखोगे, मैंने यहाँ पे देखा है भी, कहाँ चला गया? President is satisfied. हर जगह यहाँ लिखा 352, 356, 360. President is satisfied, है ना? If the president, so the officially it is declared by Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. But why the Indira Gandhi said, I mean, criticized, because of course it is on the advice of Council of Ministers, so which here actually means Prime Minister. Okay. Yes. So B is the right answer. And yes, you can see the national emergencies were invoked 1962, 71 war, and this was the much criticized. Actually ये जनवरी तक नहीं था, मार्च तक लगा था. ठीक है, 21st March 1977. तो यहाँ लिखा देखो ये. This is the exact date. Please remember the date. इसको डेट को याद कर लीजिएगा. Please remember it. Why I'm telling you? बताओ मैं क्यों कह रहा हूँ डेट याद करने के लिए. Generally I do not tell you to remember the date. अगर आपको शक होता है तो आप एक काम करना, CLAT 2021 का पेपर उठाओ. They had asked questions on Galwan Valley clash date. उसका डेट था मिडिल, I think जून 2020 था ना. They had asked the exact date. And one question was Universal Declaration on Human Rights that was signed on 10th December 1948. And this date was asked, exact date was asked. Okay? There was one more question. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was assassinated on which day? So the answer is 15th August 1975. Exact date was asked. ये पूछे थे exact date. ये तीनों मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया हूं. They were asking exact date. मतलब सिर्फ मंथ में नहीं, डेट भी पूछते हैं. Okay, so please remember this. Now it becomes very, 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 very important. 25th June 1975. ये वाला पूछेंगे. If they want to ask a date, they will ask here. 25th June 1975. ठीक है? नहीं, they don't want. उससे क्या हुआ तो भी आप you will qualify the exam. Nothing to worry. I am here to help you out. ठीक है? So please remember this date. This will be very, very helpful. ठीक है? तो अगर आप ये डेट याद रखोगे तो maybe they can ask you, है ना? देखो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. खैर. So 352 है ना. और फिर मैंने आपको दिखाया, देखो इससे बहुत सारे कोर्ट्स है. मोरारजी देसाई का when he became the Janata Party government prime minister. Then Harish Salve, very famous lawyer. And these are some of the courts criticizing the misuse of the power, etc. है ना. तुषार मेहता is the current solicitor general. ये बहुत मशहूर हुआ था. Fali S. Nariman. I mean, I would say Fali S. Nariman sir. I mean, he was ASG, Additional Solicitor General, and he resigned the next day. I mean, 27 June. Next day he resigned. Now it is important, little bit I'll discuss. So आप जानोगे, so Fali S. Nariman was ASG, Additional Solicitor General. Can anyone tell me, is it a constitutional post? Is it a constitutional post? ASG. Basically, Mr. Fali S. Nariman or Fali S. Nariman sir died last year, 21st February 2024. He had got Padma Bhushan, Padma Bhushan, etc., and many other awards. And he was also born in Rangoon, Burma. नहीं, constitutional post नहीं होता, right? हाँ. Attorney General is a constitutional post, right? हाँ. And in fact, his son Rohinton Fali Nariman is actually the former judge of Supreme Court, RF Nariman, है ना? So he also, I mean, RF Nariman retired in 2021 as a Supreme Court judge. He retired. Okay. हाँ, High Court judge नहीं, retired Supreme Court judge. ठीक है. Okay. And yes, these are some of the books of Fali S. Nariman sir. तो थोड़ा सा आप देख लीजिए, कभी कभी पूछ देते हैं. और एक और बहुत बड़ा नाम है, वी द पीपल इज अ बुक रिटन बाय नानी पालकीवाला, है ना. कभी कभी एग्जाम में पूछते हैं, नानी पालकीवाला. ही वाज आल्सो अ वेरी फेमस लॉयर. केशव नंदा भारती केस वगैरह में, है ना, केबीसी केशव नंदा भारती केस में ही हैड एक्चुअली रोल इन दैट, है ना. खैर, बिफोर मेमोरी फेड्स इज इनकी, है ना, बुक है. खैर, सो दिस इज एन आर्टिकल रिटन बाय हिम इन 2015. आई वाज लॉ ऑफिसर नंबर 3. क्या मतलब हुआ? So the senior most lawyer of the central government is called as AG, Attorney General. Okay. इनके नीचे होते SG, Solicitor General. ठीक है. और इनके नीचे होते there are multiple ASGs, Additional Solicitor General, ASG. Okay. Yes. So rank number 3 means I was additional solicitor general. Achha, attorney general is a constitutional post under 76 article 76. But but solicitor general and ASGs are not constitutional post. ये सब एलेट में पूछते हैं. ठीक है. अब आप देखो ये इंडियन एक्सप्रेस की आर्टिकल है 26 जून. Next day when emergency was imposed on 25th June 1975. So next day की editorial है blank editorial. See blank editorial. Mark of protest by Indian Express. देख रहे हो? So that is how they protested, है ना? Who is the Attorney General? You should know. Who is the Solicitor General? ये सब पता होना चाहिए. Please find out. है ना? Mr. Tushar Mehta is the current SG, and Attorney General is Mr. R. Venkatramani, है ना? Yes. So these are the terms you should know. So we are talking about it. अब देखो उन्होंने क्या बात किया, तो थोड़ा सा इनके बारे में बता रहे हैं because this is important. ठीक है? So I was appointed as Additional Solicitor General ASG on 1st May 1972, है ना? ठीक है, तो फिर I mean after practicing in Bombay High Court for 22 years and had moved to Delhi, है ना? I was reappointed 1st May को उनको reappoint किया गया था as ASG. So government lawyer होते हैं ना, Attorney General, Solicitor General and ASGs. These all are central government lawyers. But when he got to know of emergency, 2 days later, I mean he decided actually at that time Supreme Court was in vacation. गर्मी की छुट्टी होता है ना उस टाइम पर, समर वेकेशन. So he had decided to resign. है ना, तो उन्होंने रिजाइन कर दिया था, मतलब कि एज अ मार्क ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट, है ना. I resigned when emergency was imposed, है ना. That is what he had said. Now let's talk about something. So 25th June 1975, President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad issues emergency proclamation under 352, citing internal disturbance. Okay. Now then of course अब इसके बैकग्राउंड में 2-3 इंपॉर्टेंट इवेंट हुआ था. ठीक है, ये तो मैंने बता दिया कि द टर्म इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस वाज लेटर ऑन चेंज टू आर्म्ड रेबेलियन बाय 44th अमेंडमेंट. And this was the third emergency because we had already seen 62 and 1971, 1962 China war and 71 Pakistan war. We have seen already 2 emergencies, external emergencies. So there was something that happened in background, and that is JP movement. Have you heard about that? किसी ने सुना है JP movement? From Bihar, Patna University, 5th June 1974, very famous. Anyone from Bihar watching? He or she should be knowing it. Okay, that is called as Sampurna Kranti. It was started on 5th June 1974 by a socialist leader JP Narayanan. ये JP movement कहते हैं. Very famous actually, started from Patna University. So Sampurna Kranti, in fact, there's a train also which connects Patna to New Delhi, and the name of the train is Sampurna Kranti Express, named after this event. Sampurna Kranti means total revolution. This concept was brought by JP Narayanan. And this was against corruption, and there are a lot of problems. Universities exam was not happening on time. There were a lot of cheatings and many other things used to happen. And because of which students, especially the Patna University students, were very much involved in that protest. Okay? Yes. So that is what you should know. So एक तो reason ये था, and many student political parties, from across different ideologies participated in this. And a Nav Nirman movement वगैरह भी इससे related है, Sampurna Kranti, total revolution. Okay. So in fact, you won't believe, but later on these people became actually political opponents like Lalu Prasad Yadav, Sushil Kumar Modi, Ram Vilas Paswan. They later on became a member of other political parties, which were, you can say, rival, but at that time they were united. I mean, united in the sense that they were fighting for the common cause or the same cause of JP movement. ठीक है. So खैर, तो ये हो गया. तो एक चीज बैकग्राउंड में क्या चल रही थी, JP movement का impact. 1974 it had started. I am giving you a background also. Okay, so these things were there, and at the same time what happened was 12 June 1975 was the event. This is the main reason why actually perhaps the emergency was imposed. What happened was a single judge bench of Allahabad High Court, Justice Jagmohan Lal Sinha, passed an order declaring Srimati Indira Gandhi's election as invalid. So from that logic, she is disqualified from being a prime minister, because if you are not an MP, then you are not a prime minister if you have been removed. So, and statutory 6 year, of course, this is related with section 123 of Representation of People's Act. So she was disqualified. Why? Because of corrupt practices which violated Representation of People's Act. She was found guilty by a single judge bench. So that was the guts. I mean, this was kudos to him. Because you need a lot of guts, that you are a single judge, and that too not of a Supreme Court but of a High Court, passing an order against a very powerful Prime Minister, declaring her election to be invalid. And not only if you are declaring her invalid, she is no more a Prime Minister. That's the thing. So the moment it was done, and actually to go, and 25th June ko emergency was imposed. Now what happened was, when this was happened, the judgment was appealed in the Supreme Court. The Allahabad High Court passed an order. It went to the Supreme Court. I think Supreme Court ne shayad stay laga diya tha, but it was hearing the matter. And on that, during that time, 13 days later, Indira Gandhi ji imposes national emergency. Okay, that is what you should be knowing about. Now, this is the name of the judgment, very famous. Please remember it. State of Uttar Pradesh versus Raj Narayan case. Okay, Rai Bareli se. So, Justice Jagmohan Lal Sinha of Allahabad High Court said that she violated Section 123, Clause 7 of Representation of People's Act, obtaining assistance from a gazetted officer. So, if you read Section 123 of Representation of People's Act 1951, you will get to know a lot of things like bribery, corruption, corrupt practices defined karti, Section 123. For example, when we say freebie, why is considered as freebies being criticized? This is the reason. Basically, it is being criticized because if you talk too much of freebies, then both arguments, if you talk too much of freebies, it means perhaps you are giving a sort of a bribe. Like you are promising that I will give you this, that, or something like that. So that is why one of the reasons why freebies are criticized is because of Section 123. So Indira Gandhi ji was convicted under 123 Clause 7. So here is 123 Clause 7. Clause 7, subclause A. क्या लिखा? Obtaining or procuring, abetting or treatment to procure by candidate. मतलब ये है any assistance for the furtherance of the prospect of that candidate. So you are taking a help of a gazetted officer. You understand? Gazetted officer, class A, class B, gazetted officers, है ना? Like for example, DM, SDM, etc. I'm just giving an example. For example, if you are an MP, this is just for example, explanation purpose. You're fighting a candidate. You are a candidate of MP, member of Parliament. You're a candidate for that. You're fighting an election. You got a direct help from SDM to win the seat in that location, or a DM explicitly help you. Then, of course, a gazetted officer is favoring a particular candidate. Of course, this is considered as a corrupt practices. So she was found guilty under this. Okay, and that is why she was expelled. I mean, she was disqualified as the member of Parliament, and hence subsequently she cannot be the Prime Minister. And the court declared Gandhi's election null and void and disqualified her for holding any office for 6 years. And because under Representation of People's Act, if you are found guilty, then for the next 6 years you cannot fight election. So, and after that, this led to national emergency. So there are main two reasons why she invoked national emergency. एक reason तो यही था कि JP movement was going, एक तो चल ही रहा था 1974 का, and the next was Allahabad High Court judgment, which came on 12 June 1975. So this was actually the main reason, which led to 25th June 1975 national emergency declared. Okay, is it clear till now? Is everything clear? This is very important topic, very important. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Which amendment brought by the Indian Parliament to overturn the Allahabad High Court judgment disqualifying Srimati Indira Gandhi ji? 42nd Amendment, 39th Amendment, 41st Amendment, 43rd Amendment. बताइए. So when Allahabad High Court disqualified her, the matter went to the Supreme Court. I think उसका vacation वगैरह चल रहा था, but I think the Supreme Court was hearing the matter, and the Indian Parliament brings a law. What is that law? Which excludes the election of Prime Minister from judicial review. ये साफ ऐसे लिखा हुआ था कि the election of Prime Minister cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court or High Court. Which amendment? I'm waiting for the response. Yes, Karthik and Hari, you both are right. 39th Amendment. Okay, so 39th Amendment to the Constitution enacted on 10 August. देखो, 25th June 1975, emergency was imposed, and the Allahabad High Court order disqualifying her was challenged in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was hearing the matter 10 August 1975. During the emergency, placed the election of President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Speaker of Lok Sabha beyond the scrutiny of Indian courts. मतलब क्या हुआ? No judicial review. You cannot challenge it. ये तो बात ही एकदम आगे चली गई कि the election of a Prime Minister, President, Vice President, and Speaker of Lok Sabha cannot be even challenged in the Supreme Court. So of course this was, that was 39th Amendment. However, इसको बाद में quash कर दिया गया. कहाँ कब quash किया गया? Very famous judgment, Basic Structure Doctrine. What is the name of the judgment? This 39th Amendment later on was quashed. है ना? तो actually क्या है? हाँ, तो केशवानंद भारती केस 1973 में आया था, है ना? लेकिन टेक्निकली तो बात तो वही होती, हाँ, लेट मी क्लैरिफाई, एक्चुअली ये तो 1975 में है ना. So basically it violated Keshavananda Bharati case because it had talked about judicial review, है ना? So later on another judgment was of Supreme Court came where they reinforced this कि नहीं यही वाला चलेगा, ठीक है? I'm not going in that detail, and there are many other cases, Minerva Mills case and other cases where the Supreme Court squashed it कि नहीं, judicial review is the basic structure of constitution. इसमें भी कहा गया था, and many other judgments said judicial review is the basic structure of constitution. Even Minerva Mills case 1980 talked about that, है ना? So that is what you should be knowing it. So 1973 judgment was reinforced. Again, reinforced. Hi, whatever the things that were happened. So first thing, 26 June 1975, pre-censorship was imposed on our newspaper. What is pre-censorship? Means before it is getting published, you have to show it to the government. जो भी आप अखबार छाप रहे हो, पहले आपको गवर्नमेंट को दिखाना होगा क्या छाप रहे हो. Then only you have to publish it. And editors were required to get government clearances before publishing a newspaper. So the newspapers, they are supposed to first show it to the government. देखिए हम ये छापने जा रहे हैं, तब आप छापिएगा. Okay. Radio photo transmission were also brought under government clearance. Okay. And many other things. This is a board of film censor was restructured under Cinematographer Act. Okay. Even Press Trust of India, which is a very famous news agency, है ना? Where they, इसमें भी बहुत सारे change किया गया था. They all were merged. Press Council of India was abolished. But later on again it has been formed. But these were the things that had happened. So it was a direct attack on the free speech. है ना? Article 19 free speech. Direct attack on that. Now we will discuss can during emergency free speech be suspended, etc. So we'll discuss that. Fair. Now the next is the 39th Amendment we have discussed. है ना? पहले तो एक 38th Amendment आया. इसमें कह दिया गया कि the president decision of declaring emergency cannot be questioned in the court. Again, this was also struck down by the Supreme Court. Minerva Mills case 1980 में सब खत्म कर दिया गया इसको. 39th Amendment, the election of Prime Minister, Speaker, etc. excluded from judicial scrutiny. Then 42nd Amendment, very, very important. I have discussed it in detail. Please watch it. This year it is very, 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 very important. Again, for the same reasons, because 50 years of emergency has happened. So ये जरूर देख लीजिएगा. Please make notes out of it. That is very, very important. मैं इसका लिंक अगर दे दूंगा कमेंट सेक्शन में नीचे, ठीक है, आफ्टर द क्लास इज ओवर. हाँ, फिर एक और वन मोर थिंग दैट वाज क्रिटिसाइज्ड वाज मास स्टरलाइजेशन. मींस देखो, देयर वाज पॉपुलेशन वाज इंक्रीजिंग, बट व्हेन यू हैव टू डिक्रीज इट यू कैन नॉट डू फोर्स स्टरलाइजेशन. फोर्स स्टरलाइजेशन मींस यू आर फोर्सिंग पीपल टू अंडरगो द सर्जरीज व्हिच विल stop you from having a child or make the people infertile. But you can do it, you can convince it, but forced sterilization, force जो concept होता है वो democracy का idea नहीं होता है generally, है ना? In democracy there is nothing like forceful, है ना? Even like vaccine भी, तो vaccine force थोड़ी दिलवाया जाएगा कि vaccine लगा लो. So you can be convinced, the government can convince, but it cannot be forced, है ना? So similarly that is the idea. Fine. So several states, तो ये भी बहुत criticism हुआ था उस time पर. Okay. Then emergency was lifted 21st March 1971. Please remember the date. Anna. Then a commission was established. Justice J.C. Shah was the former Chief Justice of India. Under him, a commission was established. Very important. ये पूछ सकते हैं. Justice J.C. Shah है. ठीक है. Shah Commission inquiry was set up. Okay. To check, to find out examine the abuses of the power during the emergency. Shah Commission कहते हैं. Justice J.C. Shah was the Chief Justice, former CJI. Under him, a commission was set up. ठीक है. 44th Amendment मैंने बता दिया है. It was brought during Janata Party government and it tried to alter a lot of things that were done during emergency. है ना? जैसे armed rebellion word लाया, है ना? It restored the concept of judicial review again. That okay, the decision of the president to bring national emergency can be challenged in the Supreme Court, High Court. the election of the president or the election of a prime minister can be challenged in the Supreme Court, High Court. That was brought by 44th Amendment again, brought back. वापस ले आ गया उसको, ठीक है. JC Shah, Justice JC Shah commission was established, है ना. So to find out the misuse of government power and if required to punish those people, etc. also. So these were the things. And ये हो गया. फिर उसमें की फाइंडिंग्स में कि डिटेंशन इतने लोगों को पकड़ के जेल में डाल दिया गया था. So many people were in jail. Forced retirement of government officials किया गया था, बहुत सारे लोग. Then और बहुत सारी चीजें, content control, media control was there. Newspaper should be friendly, neutral. तो ये सब न्यूज़पेपर को लेबल किया था कि न्यूट्रल है, हॉस्टाइल है, फ्रेंडली है, or something like that. Okay, so it means there was an attempt to do press censorship, to control the press and to suppress free speech. So mass sterilization campaign we have discussed already. Now let's talk something about national emergency, which can be asked in the exam. What is the time limit under which proclamation of emergency must be approved by the Parliament? 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, 15 days. बताओ. So when an emergency is proclaimed by the president, after that it needs approval from both the houses of parliament. If it is not done in that period, then the emergency is gone. Like there will not be an emergency. आपको approve करवाना होता है. Please tell me, guys. Very important. So earlier it was 2 months. After 44th Amendment, it became 1 month. The 44th Amendment ने change कर दिया था. I've told you 44th Constitutional Amendment 1978 brought by Janata Party government brought a lot of procedure, है ना. So B is the right answer. तो पहले क्या था? Earlier it was the case that president is satisfied. तो यहाँ पर war, external aggression था. यहाँ पर term mention था internal disturbance. The term mentioned was internal disturbance. This term was changed by 44th Amendment. 44th CA लिख दे रहा हूँ मैं 1978, ठीक है. One thing. Second thing, यहाँ पे दिख रहा हो. पहले कहता है कि president can declare on the advice of prime minister only. But now this term was added. Union cabinet, minister of cabinet rank by 44th Amendment. क्या मतलब हुआ? कि you need, if you want to invoke national emergency, you don't need only prime minister's signature, but all the cabinet ministers should also sign. मतलब एक तरह से safeguard हो गया ना. Second thing, यहाँ पे पहले 2 months होता था, there was 2 months, but now it has become 1 month, and because of 44th Amendment, कि within 1 month you have to approve from both the houses. Each house means both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha separately should pass a law declaring the approval of emergency. Then only the emergency will continue after 1 month. Okay? And this approval should be done with a special majority. देखो लिखा हुआ है, दिखाता हूँ कहाँ लिखा होगा. हाँ यहाँ लिखा होगा. हाँ 2/3 of the member, total membership of the house by majority of not less than and 2/3 of the member. This is called a special majority. Actually इसको कहते हैं special majority of second kind. बहुत सारी majority होती है ना. Simple majority, absolute majority, effective majority, special majority of first kind, second kind, third kind. ठीक है. So this is technically special majority of second kind, but इतना detail नहीं जाना है. Just remember it. So it is a special majority. You need a special majority permission to ensure that Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha should approve within 1 month. Now this is the case. Then only after 1 month it will continue. Okay. Plus it will continue for only 6 months. After 6 months, again the parliament has to approve. Now this is the case. ठीक है. अब ऐसा होता है कि हर 6 महीने पे approve करना पड़ता है after 44th Amendment. ठीक है. Okay. One more thing is, of course, if the Lok Sabha sits, एक और चीज होता है, अगर इमरजेंसी को खत्म कैसे करना, हाउ टू एबॉलिश इमरजेंसी और हाउ टू स्टॉप द इमरजेंसी, तो प्रेसिडेंट कैन डिक्लेयर. एक तो ये तरीका है. Okay, we are stopping this. Another is if a Lok Sabha, only a Lok Sabha starts a resolution. ठीक है. ठीक है. When a notice in writing is of not less than 1/10 of the total member, यानी of Lok Sabha के 543 members से if 55 members, यानी 10th minimum 1/10 of the members sign it to the speaker if the Lok Sabha is in session, or to the president, that bring a session, we want to abolish or we want to remove the emergency. So within 14 days the session would come, the Lok Sabha will be scheduled, and if the Lok Sabha passes a bill with simple majority, then also the national emergency will be gone. So there are 2 ways to stop the national emergency. But here, for stopping it, only Lok Sabha's requirement is required. Second, simple majority is here. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? These are very small things, but it is very, very important because national emergency is important. Okay. And after every 6 months, you need to approve it again and again. And this 6 months clause was brought by 44th Amendment. Okay. And of course, national emergency. If you want to end the national emergency, it can be done by simple majority. But 110, that is 55, minimum 55 members should sign it to the speaker or president. And then the session will be scheduled within 14 days. And the Lok Sabha will pass it with simple majority. Then only the national emergency can be stopped. This can be one way. Other way is president directly pass an order stopping the emergency. ठीक है. Now, अब मैंने देखो वहां बताया 2 months, 1 month ऐसा बताया ना कि जैसे कि 1 month and 15. If you want to approve the emergency, national emergency, 1 month plus a special majority. Yes, in case of national emergency, this is the case. But in case of state emergency or financial emergency, there is 2 months. So you need 2 months. You get a 2 months time to approve it, and you need just a simple majority from both the houses to approve financial emergency. Similarly, president rule, again, you have 2 months time to approve it, and again, you need simple majority from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay? These are minute details, but still can be asked because it is very much in the news. Now, here's the next question. Which article of the Constitution is immediately suspended when national emergency is declared on the ground of war or external aggression? And अगर external emergency लगती है, so which article will be automatically gone? Please tell me. The right answer is Article 19. Yes, Dr. Naval, you're right. Huh? So freedom of speech is immediately gone if it is on external emergency. तो वो internal emergency लगी थी 1975 वाली, है ना? उसमें भी there was some, हाँ, ठीक है, that's what you should know. So A is the right answer. ठीक है, so 6 fundamental rights under Article 19 are immediately suspended, है ना? And this is mentioned in 358. ठीक है. Okay. The next is the enforcement of which of the following article cannot be suspended during emergency. And this was brought by 44th Amendment again. Enforcement of fundamental right. In Article 359 में वो mentioned है. Well, the constitutional limit is no. Article 32 is there. ठीक है. We'll discuss a little bit. So क्या पूछ रहे हो? What is the answer? I deliberately gave this question because I knew कि you will all will get confused. So 20 and 21 है. So C is the right answer here because 22 नहीं है. ठीक है. So when you read 359, it talks about this. Okay. Except 20 and 21 लिखा ना है. This was brought by 44th Amendment. Enforcement, suspension है ना. Suspension of enforcement of rights. तो कोई भी right को suspend किया सकता by a separate order. So president can pass an order that I am suspending article, let's say 18. I am suspending article 25. I am suspending article 29. So president can pass a separate order except 20 and 21. This was later on brought by 44th Amendment, 1978. ठीक है. और इसी पर एक हंगामा हुआ था. A very famous judgment of the Supreme Court called as ADM Jabalpur case, also known as Habeas corpus case. Habeas corpus, you understand? है ना, वही Article 32 से writ petition जो अभी पूछ रहे हो, constitutional remedies. So the question was, can this habeas corpus be suspended during emergency? है ना? 21 and 226. The matter went to the Supreme Court. Can this be suspended? And unfortunately, Supreme Court passed an order favoring the government. 4:1. The Supreme Court said yes, it can be suspended during emergency. Habeas corpus समझते हो ना? If you are arrested, of course, you should be produced in front of the court. And if the police is not producing you, then of course you can file a habeas corpus writ petition in High Court and Supreme Court, right? बहुत important होता है भाई ये, है ना? So the Supreme Court said ADM Jabalpur versus Shivkant Shukla case, also known as habeas corpus case. 4:1. The Supreme Court said yes, you can suspend habeas corpus even during emergency. Only one judge, dissenting judge, Justice Hansraj Khanna, he was supposed to be the next CJI through seniority rule, but he could not become the next CJI because Indira Gandhi ji was not happy with him because he had aspined to pass an order against the government. तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि he had to lose the CGI ship. He was supposed to be the next CGI, but he could not become the CGI. However, he is a hero for many, है ना? And in fact, his nephew, yes, was the Justice Sanjeev Khanna, who recently retired as the Chief Justice of India. ठीक है? Yes, कार्तिक है, right? हाँ. तो इसीलिए आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, because of course now the question is, किसी ने पूछा कि sir, will constitutional remedies be there during emergency 32? Yes. बस आप इतना सोच लो, if 32 is gone, then for sure democracy is gone, because 32 is the most important thing to protect the power of the Supreme Court and to protect the fundamental rights. तो अगर कोई ये कह दे कि 32 is over, तो भाई फिर तो मामला खत्म, ठीक है? So that is why it was criticized. In fact, so much so that even in the future judgments, the Supreme Court itself criticized its previous order. इसको इतना खराब माना गया था कि and in fact, I still remember Justice P.N. Bhagwati, before his death, he had asked for forgiveness. उन्होंने माफी मांगी थी कि I'm very sorry for, है ना? देखो लिखा हुआ भी है ना, Bhagwati later apologized. हालांकि P.N. Bhagwati was a very famous person. He brought the concept of PIL. Justice P.N. Bhagwati and Justice V.K. Krishna Iyer. These were the two prominent judges who brought the concept of PIL in India. He was the CJI at that time when the concept of public interest litigation was brought. So he later on asked for forgiveness. माफी मांगा उन्होंने, ठीक है? So that is what you should know, ठीक है? Revoking of national emergency, one by president, other by लोकसभा, है ना? एक और ये तो ये एक लोकसभा पास कर सकती है, if we have discussed. तो before थोड़ा सा ही जान लेना, before 44th amendment internal disturbance word was used, now external rebellion use होता है ना? फिर अब now you need cabinet, all the cabinet ministers should write, है ना? Before if you want to invoke national emergency. Earlier 2 months period was there, now within 1 month you have to get approval from parliament, and earlier simple majority was there, but not a special majority from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to approve emergency. I'm talking about approval of emergency, है ना? It can be extended now only for 6 months, ठीक है? Okay, है ना? So अब इसको cancel पहले कैसे cancel किया था? If you want to cancel the national emergency, it is the by signature of president. But now even by the president, second is Lok Sabha passes it with simple majority, है ना? और तीसरा है after 6 months. Means पहले क्या होता था? Once you have invoked national emergency, it will continue unless and until president will cancel it. But now after 44th amendment, it will cancel after 6 months if it is not approved further. अगर 6 महीना और नहीं extend किया गया तो अपने आप cancel हो जाएगा. So these are the things, है ना? Fundamental rights can be suspended on Article 19, है ना? अब क्या है कि war or external aggression ही में only 19 can be suspended automatically. So these are some of the things you should be knowing. And then yes, there is a remedy for 20 and 21. So Article 359 says enforcement of fundamental rights. The president can declare कि this I'm suspending this fundamental right, this one like this. Article 18, 21, 26, 25 सब declare कर सकते हैं. But 20 and 21 president cannot declare. So it means it will be alive even when the national emergency is invoked. ठीक है, ये सब बाद में लाया गया. 44th amendment में it was brought. ठीक है, 44th amendment 1978 और ये जो ADM जबलपुर वाला केस है ये 1976 का है. When the emergency was there. ठीक है, and that is why they said okay, you can suspend 32, 21, etc. also, है ना? तो बाद में later on it was criticized. In fact, this judgment was overturned by many Supreme Court judgments. It was overturned itself by 44th amendment, है ना? काफी heavily criticized judgment है. In fact, it is said that the most criticized Supreme Court judgment in the history of Supreme Court of India is this one. ठीक है, सबसे ज्यादा criticize इसे किया जाता है. Now, please tell me which of the following Indian Constitution is amendment is called as mini constitution. This we have already done it, but let me see. The right answer is 42nd amendment, है ना? So please watch this class, है ना? और ये जो मैंने बताया आपको 42nd amendment पे मैंने पूरे क्लास लिया, ठीक है? Yes. अच्छा, एक चीज और डिबेट न्यूज में, that's why I'm asking it. How many new keywords were added in the preamble during 42nd amendment? This is very much in the news, that's why I'm highlighting it. It's a related एक previous year question आया था government exam में, that also I will discuss. How many new keywords were added in the preamble by 42nd amendment? 3, है ना? Socialist, secular, integrity. Yes, very good. मैं दिखाता हूँ these 3 words. रेड से लिख देता हूँ. ये socialist, secular, and यहाँ पे word है integrity. So these 3 words are added. अब देखो इसी में बात हो रही थी कि they were saying कि socialist and secular vote should be removed. There are people like who are saying, but now there are articles which are coming that there is no meaning of dropping it. It is needless to drop. Now, why it is needless? You can answer it. You can get to know after solving this question. This is a very famous. This was asked in a very prominent government exam. This question 3-4 years back. I think UPSC को exam होता है उससे पूछा था. Now, please tell me. बताओ. This will help you solve the reason why this debate is not that much important. Karthikeya, you are right. Dog number, yes. It is a part of the constitution. इसमें भी debate चला था कि whether preamble is a part of the constitution or not. So Berubari Union case said that it is not a part. Later on Supreme Court in case of Nandabadi case said that it is a part of the constitution, but has no legal effect independently of other parts. यानी वो symbolic सिर्फ होता है. Independently of other parts means if you are separating it from the rest of the constitution. आप बोलो सर A और D तो सेम चीज है. नहीं, सेम चीज नहीं है. नो लीगल इफेक्ट का मतलब कोई भी लीगल इफेक्ट नहीं है. अब नो लीगल इफेक्ट इंडिपेंडेंटली ऑफ अदर पार्ट्स का मतलब है इफ यू सेपरेट इट फ्रॉम द अदर पार्ट्स. आई विल एक्सप्लेन व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इट इज. देखो जैसे आप कह रहे हो कि यहाँ पे सोशलिस्ट वर्ड ऐड किया गया. सो इंडिया बिकेम सोशलिस्ट ओनली आफ्टर 42nd अमेंडमेंट. दिस इज द केस. नो, ये तो सिंबॉलिकली ऐड किया गया. सोशलिस्ट बिकॉज वी आर हैविंग डीपीएसपी, डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी. सेकुलर यहाँ पर सेंस हुआ कि वी शुड नॉट, द गवर्नमेंट शुड नॉट डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन पीपल ऑफ डिफरेंट रिलीजन. So it will be treating people of all the religion equally. So already है Article 14, equality before law, 325, 326, which talks about universal adult franchise, irrespective of religion, race, caste, gender, people are allowed to vote. तो यही मतलब हुआ कि D is the right answer. It means independently of other parts इसका effect नहीं है. However, it can have effect. Just for example, the word socialist is there. If other parts talks about it, yes, other parts like DPSP talks about it, socialist. You got it? So basically, many people were saying we need to remove this in preamble. So it has no meaning. Even if you remove it, even if you add it, it has no meaning. It is just symbolic in nature. ठीक है? तो ये मैंने आपको बताया भी, इस क्लास में मैंने डिटेल में बताया भी है कि the terms that are mentioned are more symbolic in nature, whereas the enforcement comes from the other parts of the constitution. ठीक है? So कोई एक ये MBA क्लब YouTube चैनल ये लॉ के इंटरेस्ट चैनल पे ना. So we have discussed because preamble में डिबेट हो रहा था अभी. That is why they can ask questions from here also. So this is also very very important. ठीक है? तो I'm giving you homework. 2 क्लास देखना है. This one, this is a homework. ये सर्च करना, you will get it. And this one, especially this one is very 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 important. Please watch it after the class is over. Please watch it. Make notes out of it. This is very very important. Okay? So we are ending this class here. Thank you everyone. Tomorrow I'll be discussing about conflicts in Latin America. आप लोग बोले थे ना लैटिन अमेरिका पे G7 में मीटिंग हुई थी है ना. It talked about Haiti, Venezuela, etc. So we'll be talking about conflicts in Latin America. So this is all about today's class. Please subscribe to the channel, press the like button, share this video. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching.